that far.
Good day, aviators. Welcome to the second video in the practice series for Say Intentions. First video we covered setting up the app and getting everything ready to go in that way. This time around we are going to do a full flight from Truckee down to Lake Tahoe. It'll be leaving a controlled airport, going into an uncontrolled airport. And we're going to cover each of the steps required to get off the ground in a VFR capacity for this one. We'll talk about IFR sometime a little bit later in the practice series, but at first it's just getting off the ground for our very first run. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have your charts open. They're not required, but they're definitely, if you want some realism, you're going to want Navigraph or SkyVector if you're going the free route. So the first thing is we want to grab the ATIS, the weather. And at Truckee, let me just make sure that I'm not making things up. At Truckee, I believe it's 118.0. Yeah, 118.0. So what we'll do is we'll tune our radios to that, and we're going to be listening for some very important information, mostly the weather. We're going to need the letter, and we're going to need the altimeter setting. So we're listening for the weather, but we're listening for the altimeter, and we're listening for the letter they give us, information Alpha to Zulu.
YS29er 20. Visual approaches in use. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Romeo. Truckee, information Romeo. 2349er Zulu. Wind 225 at 17. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 24. Dew point 1. Altimeter 3023.
30.23.
Runways 29er.
Alright, so we got information Romeo and altimeter 30.23.
Advise on course heading, altitude, and if
Alright, so we can shut that up for a second. And we'll just switch to a probably non-monitored frequency right now, and we want to put in our altimeter 3023. I have an app for that. Did I already set it? Oh yeah, I must already set it. Well, never mind then. So now that we have our ATIS, we have information Romeo, we have our altimeter of 30.23, and we know it's good to fly. It's nice and clear. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our charts or check our airport information, and we're going to find the clearance frequency if your ATIS told you to contact clearance for VFR departures. If it doesn't, because there isn't a clearance frequency to go to, or they don't require that, your next stop is going to be ground. So we're going to Truckee ground, and that's going to be at 118.3. So we will tune in 118.3. A good practice, even though it doesn't really matter with Say Intentions because it's all smarter than that. Always good practice is to switch over the frequency and give it a couple seconds, so that you're not walking on anybody. Again, on Say Intentions, you can't yet. You can walk on your own transmissions or somebody else when you're talking, but it doesn't affect them at all. You just don't hear what was being said. But it's a good habit to get into, because I feel somewhere down the line we are going to bring in the ability to walk on people. Not anytime soon, though. All right, so I'm on 118.3. Now, contact Truckee by saying Truckee ground. That's who we're calling. Ours is Vision Jet. Our call sign is Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot, so that's who we are. And then we're going to do where we are, and we'll be at General Aviation Parking, and then what we want. And it's going to be flight following to whatever the name of the airport is at Tahoe Lake. It's Kilo Tango Victor Lima. So when we request that, we'll listen back and we'll decipher what they give us. So Truckee ground, Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot is at General Aviation Parking, looking for flight following to Kilo Tango Victor Lima. What I could have also done there was
Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot, Truckee ground, I hear you, 1 sec.
What I also could have done there is advise them what I was flying, so the Vision Jet. The call sign kind of makes sense, but that's something else you could throw in there too.
Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot, Truckee ground on departure. Maintain VFR at or below 7500 feet. Departure on 127.905. Squawk 6354.
So on your readbacks, you're going to want to read back exactly what they told you. Try and be as precise as you can. You could vary a bit, but as long as you get the numbers right, they're okay. And that's why we're always writing this down. On departure, maintain VFR at or below 7,500. Departure frequency 127.905. Squawk 6354. Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot. And we should get a readback correct if we did all that right.
Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot. Readback correct. Ground is on 118.3. Safe flight, sir.
118.3, 4 Tango Foxtrot, thanks. So on 118.3, that's where we already are. He will only give you the frequency next if you're in student pilot mode. Then it's just kind of assumed you already know that. So the first thing you want to do, now that you have your maintain VFR at or below 7,500, remember Say Intentions doesn't have ground awareness yet. So sometimes you'll get a clearance that is below the ground. Obviously don't fly into the ground. 7,500, I think, won't get us out of here. I think we have to probably climb to 9,000 to get over the mountain range heading south. But you know what? There's probably a way through. So we'll try that. So what I'll do with that is I'll actually put in my autopilot. We'll go up to 7,500 just to start. Because once we get out of the Class Delta airspace, the sky is kind of ours. We got our flight following, but we're free as a bird. So we're up to 7,500. Our departure frequency is 127.905. So I'm going to put that in my standby frequency. And squawk 6354. So in your transponder, 6354. And that is so they can find you on radar when you get up in the air. They're not going to give you radar contact on the ground because you can't get radar contact on the ground because it's below the radar. But once you do go to departure, they will give you radar contact. Or they'll tell you that there is no radar contact because you forgot to turn on your transponder or you forgot your code correctly. So that's it. We got our flight following. IFR clearance is very similar. So the readbacks there's just a little bit extra. There's your route in there. So next up is getting our taxi information. So since we're already on ground, we don't have to go anywhere. We will taxi. I can't remember if I told them I have information Romeo. It's always good to let them know. So I'm going to let them know on this transmission, just to let them know that we do have the weather. Truckee ground, Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot with information Romeo, ready to taxi. I could have ready to taxi VFR too, but they know what I'm doing. And have your notepad ready.
Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot. Taxi to runway 29er via Alpha. Cross runway 20 at Alpha. Contact tower on 120.575 when ready for departure.
Taxi to runway 29 via Alpha, cross runway 20, and towers on 120.575. Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot. Alright. So we're off. That's we got our taxi instructions. We are good to roll. Now, this is my 4th flight with the Vision Jet. I just bought it. I am super happy with it. Starting to remember how everything works. So here we go. So, on Navigraph, I brought up my... Actually, I'm bringing it up right now. I'm bringing up my overlay for my taxi. And ideally, it should match up with exactly the... Should match up exactly with the instructions that were given. So, we're going to be going Alpha 20, or crossing runway 20 to runway 29, which all kind of makes sense. We're going to do a pretty sexy turn. Turns out the Vision Jet can turn on a dime too, which I'm pretty happy about. I'll just try and maintain a reasonable taxi speed. The Vision Jet, I think they said something about keeping the center line a little bit to the right of everything there. That should keep it right on the nose. I read that somewhere. I believe it. So as we're cruising, I'm just going to stay on ground. As far as I'm concerned, they said cross runway 20. They didn't say hold short runway 20. So I'm going to assume that it is free and clear. I love these big windows. Just see everything. I didn't see no planes. You guys see no planes? I didn't see no planes. It's going to be that one time when a multiplayer plane just flies right in front of me. Makes me look bad. So we're continuing on. Still on Alpha. And the taxiway to the whole short line is Juliet, but I think they just assume, when you get to the end, that's where you're going to go anyway. So we're just going to pick up our speed a little bit more. And make sure that we turn on our flight director, because of course we did. Oh look, our flight director. It's almost like there should be a checklist. So what we'll do is we'll also check our charts for our minimum vectoring altitudes, or that's what I'm calling it, which is technically a term. But what we'll actually do is check the charts, the VFR charts, for the ground level, so we don't smack into it. So what's going to happen is once you pull up to the whole short line, you are assumed...
Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot. Contact tower on 120.575.
120.575 is Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot. You are assumed to switch over to tower. You don't need to wait for that handoff, but you got the handoff because we are on student pilot mode. So switching over to tower. Now we might get a departure here, but I don't think so. We're gonna find out. But Truckee has a couple departure routes for noise abatement and stuff that I think I talked about last video. But if you weren't there, there's specific routes to avoid people's houses, keep it nice and quiet. There's the bypass departure, the truck scales. There's a couple of them, but let's see what happens. All we have to do is let Truckee Tower know who we are and where we are and what we want, which is, well, this. Truckee Tower, Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot, holding short runway 29, ready to go. We are at runway 29, and we are ready to take off from runway 29.
Vision Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot, Truckee Tower, runway 29er, winds 225 at 17, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 29er, 4 Tango Foxtrot. So for the readbacks for those, you don't have to read back the wind, but you do definitely have to acknowledge that you're cleared for takeoff. And I'm going to probably just put in Kilo Tango Victor Lima, because I forgot to put that in there. And we will activate. There we go. Now we're going the right way. And then what I always do with my autopilot, Tower's probably like, why is he not leaving? None of your business. Is I set our heading the way of the runway. And I set for 290, so it's probably just off just a little bit. But let's get out there before everyone starts getting snippy. Oh, what are we, stuck in a rut? Let's go. Bring our flaps down to 50%. Our pitch trim is at 5% or 5 degrees, which is takeoff for the Vision Jet. And we're gonna just go right into it. Oh, we're flying right into the wind. That's interesting. All right. We're gonna take off thrust, and I think our rotate speed's around 90. I should really probably do that, but that's not the important part of this video right now. I know when to leave the ground. Maybe a little bit shorter than 90, but let's see. Let's rotate at 80. Let's be crazy. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Little windy. Little windy. Alright, positive rate. Gear up. Oh, that's a little windy. Alright, Alright, that's our gear in. Alright. So soon we're going to get our handoff to departure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate our heading, autopilot, our flight level climb, which will be 165 knots apparently. Now 7,500 is pretty low here. So let's get turning into our heading here. So we'll do 120, and I'll turn on my nav autopilot so that when it catches that track, it will switch to nav. And I'm going to check our ground here because I feel like we are going to smack into it pretty soon if I don't do something about that. Yeah, it's 9,600.
Contact departure on 127.905.
127.905, 4 Tango Foxtrot. We are going to drop the pen that I was using to write everything down. We're going to climb to 9,500. You guys are there? So, our departure frequency has been in our standby this whole time. So that's good news, so we can just swap that over. And then with handoffs like that, you only have to let them know who you're calling, who you are, and your altitude. And if you're not at your altitude, where you are now and what you're climbing to. Departure, VisionJet 4 Tango Foxtrot, 8,500, climbing 9,500. And then we should get our radar contact. Just find my pen.
Vision, Jet 4 Tango Foxtrot, Oakland Center, radar contact.
Alright, that's good enough. Now with all that done, you want to check your app, make sure that your destination is correct and that it has radar contact, which everything it does. You have VFR when it's VFR and you have IFR when it's IFR. Oh, and I shouldn't have been on takeoff thrust that entire time. Apparently you can burn down an engine like that. So, while we're at our cruise altitude, I'm gonna see if no, it's in auto mode. We're gonna just switch our speed down to manual mode. I want to slow her down a bit here because we got lots to talk about. Nope, too slow, too slow, too slow. There, 190 should be good. And we'll just arm auto throttle. There we go. So we're going to be lining up for Lake Tahoe. So while we're doing that, I'm going to pull up my charts. And I'm going to see what's going on at Lake Tahoe. So Lake Tahoe has 2 runways available, runway 18 and runway 36, 18 and 36. On Navigraph, it's showing me that I have a 5-knot tailwind if I do runway 18 and a headwind of 5 knots if I do runway 36. So we're going to take runway 36. So once we get close enough, departures, because we're on flight following departures, either going to hand us off to center or another departure or whoever. But if you're going to an untowered airport like Lake Tahoe is, you know, it'd be hilarious if it isn't untowered, and that would be embarrassing for me, but I'm pretty sure it's untowered. What they're going to do is they're going to let you know where the airport is, and they're going to hand you off to the traffic frequency, and that's when you're going to start making your traffic calls. We'll talk about pattern work and traffic calls in a upcoming video. But for this one, right now it's just worried about more getting those handoffs and getting you off the ground. Right, so I'm checking the charts over at Lake Tahoe. Hold on.
Oakland Center, Lake Tahoe Airport at your 1 o'clock, 0 miles. Change to advisory frequency approved. Radar services terminated. Squawk VFR. Take care.
Change to advisory frequency approved. Squawk VFR, 4 Tango Foxtrot. Alright, so that's their handoff. we can go to the traffic frequency, which is 122.85. That's the CTAF frequency. And then it said Squawk VFR. That's always going to be 1200 in the US. So now we're squawking VFR. We're on traffic frequency. And I'll make some traffic calls. Maybe talk about them a bit. But for the most part, we will deal with that on another video. So the altitude of KTVL is 6,268. So we're going to do about, I don't know, like 7,800 for the approach here. And it's a good thing I checked the charts because I'm always doing left-hand patterns, but it specifically says runway 36 is a right traffic pattern. I think that is mostly because of those gigantic mountains on the side that probably doesn't want to accidentally swing you into. So this isn't how you enter a traffic pattern. I was a little late on it. Wait, is that not the airport right under us? Oh, no, it's not. No, I'm pretty good on the traffic pattern. So, and a fun thing to remember is when it says right-hand or left-hand traffic patterns, think of it as a way you're going to turn. So if you're downwind and you're turning base, if you're turning right to go onto base, that's a right-hand traffic pattern. If you're turning left to go onto base, that's a left-hand traffic pattern. Now what I could have done is I could have programmed in my GPS. I could have programmed in my GPS the actual visual approach here. Because we are being blown way off course. That is something. Oh my god, I haven't been making my radio calls either. Oh, okay. So let's just start now. Lake Tahoe traffic. VistaJet 4 Tango Foxtrot. Downwind runway 36 for a full stop landing. Lake Tahoe. So when you start your transmission, you say the name of the airport and traffic, what you're doing, and then you always end by repeating the name of the airport, just in case someone missed it at the beginning. They know for sure what you meant at the second. We're going to get a long lead in for this because I'm being blown kind of left and right here. Alright, so well, this is a pretty windy little situation we got going on here. Maybe I should have turned off the wind for this. Try maybe not look so bad. Lake Tahoe traffic. 4 Tango Foxtrot turning base. Runway 36. Lake Tahoe. Actually, you know what? This is going to be like a quick final too. Lake Tahoe traffic. 4 Tango Foxtrot is final. Runway 36. Lake Tahoe. Now, most of the time you do that just for the realism aspect of everything, but people will hear you on local frequencies. Now we're coming in a little sideways, but nothing to shake a stick at. I'll fix it in the long run. It's just so windy. And drop our flaps, drop our gear. We are coming a little high, but can you side slip in a jet? Let's find out. Because I'm seeing the runway markings, and I think there's a long lead up there. But the VistaJet can stop pretty good here. All right. All right, I think I got it straightened out a bit as best as I can. Trying to aim for the actual runway, not the taxiway.
500.
Still getting blown around quite a bit here. Whoa! All right. All right, bring up our flaps. And figure out where there's a taxiway exit. It's up here. Alright, we're going to exit off the runway, and then we will let everybody know we are clear of the runway. Lake Tahoe traffic, Vision Jet, 3 Tango Foxtrot is clear runway 36. Lake Tahoe. And then we just taxi our way. I believe this is a closed taxiway, so this is my parking spot. Alright, so that's pretty much the gist of it. That's taken off. How to land poorly. How to make 80% of your traffic calls. What I should have done is announce when I was like 5 miles or 10 miles out, let them know which way I was approaching from, but I forgot all about that. So what you're going to want to do in Say Intentions, at the end of every flight, try and get into the habit of it, is it will give you a screen that says, take a minute to rate the flight. You can click in there and definitely rate it. It'll give you every aspect of your flight and what you thought of it. And that helps Brian focus on what needs to be focused on. But at the end of every flight, get into the habit of clicking new flight. And what that'll do is reset everything completely and be ready for your next flight. It'll erase its memory of anything that you were doing before, so it doesn't confuse it. But for me and everybody at Say Intentions, I hope you have fun. Hop on our Discord if you have any questions. Come check out some group fly-ins and just keep practicing. But join us for my practice series video 3. That'll be tower to tower airports. We'll see you later.